no money to get clothes out of the cleaners. But God made a way for me to put a nice outfit together for my meeting. Now, you know, when it's an outfit, like if it's an outfit, I don't even know what that really means.
First of all, why were you even putting stuff in the cleaners? Because you probably knew we couldn't get it out.
Well, because when you iron certain things too much, it gets shiny. Like you can't iron suits. You can steam it.
Yeah, I guess
You know what I mean? So depending on what it was.
Right.
You know what I mean? So interesting, right?
Yeah.
Like this is so helpful for so many people maybe going through things because when you write what you're grateful for, one, it allows you to go back and reflect so you'll never forget where you've come from. But two, it allows you to think about, you know what? I'm happy that I'm healthy today. I'm happy that I'm walking today. I'm happy that I can read. I'm happy, right? Because there's so many people that can't do any of those things. So anyway, so it's just, if you don't have to have the journal, but I would highly recommend you write down what you're grateful for every day.
If you're a go-getter, faith-driven and family-focused and need to break through to your next level, this is the podcast for you. Your self-talk can reshape every area of your life. It's time to dream and think big. Welcome to the Self-Talk Experience with Darnell and Tracy Self. It's time to elevate, baby. Let's get into the show.
Hey, everybody. Welcome back. It's your favorite day of the week, Thursday. You know what that means. Self-Talk Experience. Hey, guys.
And that's only if you're listening or watching this on the day that we launch. Some people go back and watch it or listen to it on another day.
No, everyone watches it on Thursday. They wait in anticipation for these episodes to drop. You didn't know that?
No, I didn't. Yeah. Make sure you guys are also sharing this, right? You can listen to it obviously on your favorite podcast platform or watch the full episodes on YouTube. But share it with other folks. If it's helping you out, share with somebody else, and perhaps it'll help them out too. We really appreciate you all support, and it's been an honor. I can't believe we're over 20 episodes now.
I can't either, and I'm just kidding. I love that everyone watches, so whenever you have a chance to watch, just watch. Even if you have to binge.
So this episode...
Yes, what are we talking about today?
...is about abundance and gratitude. Mm-hmm. This is, we both have these journals in front of us. And for those who are watching, if you're listening, we're holding the Simple Abundance Journal of Gratitude given to us by Tracy's mom and my mother-in-law. The first year she gave it to us was actually the year where we really started to struggle financially. Mm-hmm. And she gave this to us. In fact, I'll just read, she won't mind. My note from my mother-in-law. She says, "To Darnell, with love from your mother-in-law. I thank God every day for giving my daughter such a wonderful man and for giving me such a wonderful friend." And in this book, when she gave it to me, she says, "Hey, I just want you to think every day of something that you're grateful for, because it's so easy to have your mind when you're not in a good place go to what you're upset about, frustrated about, mad about, sad about. And I want you to think about what you're glad about or grateful." And it forced me in some of the worst days to think about what was best about that day.
It was so hard. I remember, it was so long ago, but I remember how hard it was to every single day when nothing was going right for a whole season.
Yeah.
To sit and write something that I was grateful for, something I was thankful for. And it changed me, and I know that I fared so much better through that season because I had these journals.
Yeah, no doubt.
Absolutely did.
So on this episode, guys, we're going to be extremely transparent and actually read from some of our journal entries and talk about them. Mm-hmm. This is the first time we've done this. I did it one other time on a platform in New Orleans and shared out of your journal.
Why didn't you share out of your journal? You have your own journal. I remember that. Now I'm thinking about it. Why didn't you share out of your journal?
Because I wanted people to know how appreciative I am for your support, not based on where you are, because people can see you now like, oh, she doesn't have to work a job. Oh, she doesn't have, right? She gets to travel, gets to, buy things. But I want them to see from where you've come from. And it was because people see me on stage all the time. So I wanted them to say, listen to some of the entries, and she still supported during that time. That's the reason why I did that. I asked your opinion. I mean, I asked for your advice and for, what am I trying to say? Your blessing. And you said yes.
I guess so. I guess I said yes. I don't really remember you asking, but okay. I feel like I would have been like, read out of your own journal, sir.
All right, I'm going to start. How about that? Let's get into this. So this is in 1998.
1998.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. So I was 27 years old. I turned 28 that year, but when I started writing in this, I was 27, or was I 28? I was 28. I was 28 years old.
Okay.
And so
that's so crazy because we have a son older than that now.
I know.
Wow.
I know. So January of that year, I said, I'm grateful that I'm writing down for the first time a specific financial figure for the year. Like I'd never written down a financial figure. Maybe I'd said it, but never written it down.
How much you plan to make?
Yep. That was January of that year.
Wow.
And I wrote it. You want me to tell you?
What did you write? January. Wait, what year was this again?
1998.
Okay.
Like this is a year where I didn't have a job. You were working for Mr. B to help support us. Mm-hmm. So
shout out to Mr. Brooks.
Yes. So $225,000. Like I wasn't making even $1,000 a month. Like maybe I was making a couple of $100 here and there.
Wow.
I know. And I wrote down $225,000.
So when you wrote that down, did you have a plan in mind?
I don't remember. I had to go back and look at my notebooks.
Interesting. Because that's such a lofty goal.
Yeah. Yeah. I had a vehicle. I mean, it didn't work for me, but but I thought, you know what I mean?
So you, no, that's fair. You believed
yeah.
at that time that vehicle was going to get you that result.
Yeah. Yeah. And I don't know if I had become a $225,000 a year guy. I don't know if I picked up the skills, the relationship building skills. I don't know. I would have to go back and look at some of the other journals where it wasn't a gratitude journal. This is where we just put things about what we were grateful for. And so in 1998, it didn't hit that goal. 1999, I didn't hit that goal. Year 2000, I didn't hit that goal, but 2001, I did. So 4 years after I wrote it, I surpassed it.
I wonder if you didn't write it, would you have even gotten it then?
I don't know. We'll never know, but guess what we do know? We wrote it and we got it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Wow.
So that was one of the first ones that I wanted to mention. You want to go first? Or you want me to read another one?
You can go one more time.
Okay, I'll go one more.
Okay.
So this one here.
Are you still in January of that year?
I'm still in January. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So man, I'm looking at some of these. I completely forgot about some of these. Wow. This is like, my wife let me work all day without any interruption from the kids. I'm so grateful. Right.
Did I usually let the kids interrupt you?
Maybe. So.
Sorry, babe.
Yeah. So look, check this one. Check this one
Wow.
out. A safe trip back from Atlanta. I'm grateful for a safe trip back from Atlanta. I returned a few hours later than I'd hoped. And instead of Tracy being upset, she was happy to see that I was home safely.
Oh,
That was
you were
nice.
grateful for that?
Yes, probably because I didn't have much else to be grateful for. No, I'm just playing. Anyway, so you go.
Okay. So wait, what year was yours?
This is in 1998, this one.
Okay, so the one I have is 96.
Wow.
So
I have to pull out that one too. I just pulled out the
So
98
no,
one.
I'm wondering, so did my mom give us both one in 96? Or did she
I have
just
like
give me
3 of
one
them.
in
I just
96?
pulled one of them out.
I'm just curious if we were writing at the same time. Let me see what year this one is. This is 97.
Okay.
I'm curious to know what we were writing at the same year.
We could do another one. We could do another one. Another
I just
episode
thought
to do
about it.
that.
It's interesting. The first one that I have, so this is 1996. And so you can write every day something that you're grateful for, but then there's a space at the end where you can just write. So maybe a reflection of
At the end of the month.
the whole month.
Yeah.
So in my reflection at the end of July of that year, I wrote, I cannot believe Darnell and I have been married for 3 years. I look forward to countless more years of fun, family, and growth with him by my side. Even though money is tight right now, I have faith that everything will continue to be okay. It's So, wow.
And I was in 96.
Yeah, we had only been married for 3 years, and we were struggling so.
No, only for 2 years.
Well, this says 3.
Yeah,
because
it must
it was
be
right.
the end.
It was well, July. Our anniversary is in July.
Oh, got it.
So it's so crazy that we had only been married for 3 years.
Oh, but you know what? Your mom bought you this for Christmas in 96. You probably were writing it in 97. Yeah, that's why.
Yeah. So when I saw that, when I was kind of going through it earlier today, I was like, I can't believe we were at that place.
Yeah. So for those who don't know, we got married in 94. I quit my job in 95 to become an entrepreneur, and things went downhill instead of going
fast.
Up. Yeah, fast. Right. Because sometimes you become an entrepreneur, you're like, all right, this is my plan. Month 1, this is going to happen. Month 2, this is going to happen. And it went backwards for a while.
Right.
So 98, it's like, it was really, really bad. That's when, our house was up for foreclosure. We lost the cars. But 96, it was already, from 95, I quit my job. 96, we were already doing worse than we were used to doing when we had a job. So that's your entry there.
Yeah. And that was my reflection for the month.
Yeah.
Right. I have another one in this one too. It's so interesting to me too, babe. When I was going through them, most of my entries were about you. This was December 3rd of that year. Okay. And it says, thankful for grocery money, my job, and a husband who can help me make important decisions. And I just remember, we can go back to episode 1 or 2 when we were talking about being at the grocery store and not having enough money. In this particular day, I was grateful for grocery money. Yeah. I should be grateful for grocery money every day. But that day in particular, it stood out to me to be grateful for grocery money.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. No, I remember reading one of these, and it says, I'm thankful for having enough gas to make it around the Beltway for my appointment.
Wow.
And I was like, wow. Because I don't think about that now when I go to the gas station.
Right.
As expensive as gas is, knowing I can write some of it off for business, but I don't really think about, and I heard a guy at the gas station just the other day, he's like, yeah, can I get $4 on number 2? And it reminded me of where I come from immediately when he said it. And it's so easy to judge people like $4, bro, but I didn't, because
but we
I
were
know
there.
It's like to put
we were
$4,
there.
right?
Yeah, absolutely.
And so yeah, I remember it. So going back through this, man, brought up a lot of emotions for me. Yeah. This one right here says that, this is January, I'm still in January, no money to get clothes out of the cleaners. But God made a way for me to put a nice outfit together for my meeting. Now, you know, when it's an outfit, like if it's an outfit, I don't even know what that really means.
First of all, why were you even putting stuff in the cleaners? Because you probably knew we couldn't get it out.
Well, because when you iron certain things too much, they get shiny. Like you can't iron suits. You can steam it.
Yeah, I guess
you know what I mean? So depending on what it was,
right?
You know what I mean? It's so interesting, right?
Yeah.
Like this is so helpful for so many people who may be going through things, because when you write what you're grateful for, one, it allows you to go back and reflect, so you'll never forget where you've come from. But two, it allows you to think about, you know what? I'm happy that I'm healthy today. I'm happy that I'm walking today. I'm happy that I can read. I'm happy, right? Because there's so many people that can't do any of those things. So anyway, so it's just, if you don't have to have the journal, but I would highly recommend you write down what you're grateful for every day. Yeah.
It was really great. I remember that time, and it just, I had made a promise to myself that every day I would really sit with myself and think of something. And some days I felt like I sat for an hour, like I have nothing. But you do. You have something. You have something every day. Even on your most frustrating days and your most down days, it's always something. And it just pulled something out of me, and I feel like that changed me in that time. Yeah. And so now, even when you have your frustrating days, I know my self-talk is, okay, get it together, because you do have stuff to be grateful for. You're frustrated about a lot of things, but let's back that up. And I know that being in this time with these journals got me here, got me to that point.
Yeah. I remember your mom saying, if you have trouble finding something to be grateful for, try to focus on words that meant a lot to you.
Words?
Yes. So for an example, you'll see that I put that they're sprinkled throughout this journal, because maybe those days were so tough. I couldn't even focus on what I was grateful for, but I was grateful for words. And so I'll give you an example, right? Because I'm sure everybody has somebody around them, hopefully. If not, try to put yourself around someone who gives you encouraging words. And you're like, man, even though this didn't work out, that didn't work out, don't have any money, I'm thankful about my friend said this to me.
Oh,
Gave
yes.
me encouragement, right?
That's good. That's good.
So remember we talked about the end of the month, you can write down all the things for the month. It's kind of a recap like you just shared. Well, this is a part of the recap. It's pretty long.
Which month is this?
I haven't even moved out of January yet.
Wow. Okay.
So this says words that meant a lot to me this month. Every time Rayvon and Malik said daddy.
Wow.
So even though I couldn't be thankful for the money that we made, because we didn't have any, I couldn't be thankful for the nice car, the nice house, right? But I could be thankful that my kids, when they said daddy, right? Because nobody could take that away from me.
Oh, babe. Wow.
So the second words that I was thankful for that month was do what you have to do, baby. I trust you, which is what you said that month. The third thing, it's okay that you couldn't be at the concert. I understand. And I support you 100%. Your favorite sister.
Oh,
KB.
wow.
So, because it's so easy when you can't make it to stuff, because back then I was like I was putting myself in a place where I gave up so much to be present in every environment where I thought it could help me to succeed. So that meant I missed out on some things. We talked about that in some of our previous episodes.
Yes, absolutely.
So some of the things I forgot that I missed out on until I started reflecting on this journal right before this podcast episode, this recording, because I knew we were going to do it. And I started looking through this. I'm like, man, I forgot all this stuff, right?
It was so long ago, you forget.
I know.
Yeah.
I know. So anyway, so some of these words, and look, I appreciate everything you do for me because I know you don't have to, Mike Cunningham, who's now passed.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So it made me think about words.
That's so good.
Yeah.
That is so good.
I
wasn't thinking about that.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
That's good.
So let's do this. Let's take a break. And what I like to do is I'm going to come back and we're going to talk a little bit more about some of our entries, but then talk about this transition, because it's one thing to write down what we're grateful for. It's another thing to then use those things to empower you,
right,
to propel you to a whole nother level. And I guarantee that somebody who's going to start writing down what they're grateful for this year, and next year is going to be their springboard to another level of success. Or they'll start writing them this month, and next month it's going to be their springboard for their next level of success.
Yeah.
And they'll always be able to reflect and remember where they've come from, because people often ask, how are you so humble? How do you, because it's easy when you can remember, you wrote down what it was like.
Yes.
But you wrote down in a way that you were still grateful for it.
Right.
And thankful.
Right.
All right, we'll be right back, guys, after a break and a chance to hear from our sponsors.
Hey, what's up, fam? You got to connect with J&E Builders. They buy homes in any condition. J&E Builders even help out with distressed properties. And if you're dealing with a significant amount of taxes, J&E Builders will assist you with that home as well. Give them a hit at J&E_builders. That's at Instagram at J&E_builders.
Hey, Self Talk Experience family. If you want to do some great shopping and get great finds like this, follow my girl, thebrianna.k on Instagram. And if you want to shop, go here.
So author and trainer Monty Sanders has been in this health and wellness space for over 20 years. His most notable clients are NFL Hall of Famers Ray Lewis and Ed Reed. And guess what? He's got an Amazon best-selling book that you can gain access to right now. It's The Power of You versus You. I'm going to tell you right now how you can get access to that and his other programs. All you have to do is go to thepowerofyouversusyou.com. That's it. Thepowerofyouversusyou.com to get access to that amazing book as well as all of his other programs. Hey, what's up, Self-Talk Experience family? Listen, I thought I was going to get some bathrooms renovated, but I had no idea when I connected with my man Stan Neal that it would be more than a renovation. I'm not even sure what the term should be. Maybe transformation, because I started with the bathrooms And all of a sudden, my entire basement was redone in a way that my family members thought I moved. Seriously. So if you're looking to take your house to the next level, whether it's some custom construction, some transformation of your bedroom, your bathrooms, your family room, your great room, I did it all. I mean, if I showed you my entire house before and after pictures, in fact, I'm going to show you some, you would say, no way is that the same room or the same house. Listen, I'm just saying this because I've got personal experience with this gentleman. So you want to connect with him, I'm going to give you the number, his office number to reach him, as well as email. And again, you will not be disappointed. So if you want to reach him via his office number, 202-359-3923. Again, 202-359-3923. And email is Stan, STAN .Neal, NEALJR @FreshAirLLC.com. Connect with my man Stan. You won't be disappointed.
All right, everybody, we are back and we're talking about being grateful. And we have our journals of gratitude here. We're doing some of our rough seasons. And I guess we have to be careful how we define that, because it was a season of preparation. It was a season that allowed us to prepare for the success that was on its way.
But you can still say it was rough, babe.
Yeah.
It was. That's fair to say, I think. But you're absolutely right.
Yeah.
Definitely the self-talk is that it was a season of preparation.
Yeah.
So I should say it that way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So we're going to read a few more, and then let's talk about, how we were able to make the transition. So you want to go first?
So now I am in 1997.
Okay.
And this is January 1997. And this really stood out to me because it says, thankful that no matter what I'm going through in my life, that I can always count on my husband to be here for me and take care of our family. And that meant so much to me because growing up, I had my dad and I always counted on him. And he always took care of us. And I don't know if they ever had money problems or any situations going on, but I always felt safe and secure. And when I met you, that's what I was looking for. And it just means a lot to me that that's exactly what you were doing.
Yeah, but that's interesting, right? Because I wasn't taking care of you financially during that time, right? Because at that point, I'd already quit my job. 2 years in as an entrepreneur, and I'm trying to remember exactly where I was during that time. So I couldn't have made $10,000. If I go back and look at my 1099 for that year, I bet it wasn't $10,000. I bet it wasn't $1,000 a month.
This is the thing. Because we didn't have money, it wasn't about the money. You were taking care of us. So whatever was happening, I still felt like I was being taken care of. And it says that I could count on you.
Interesting.
So I was counting on you to make it happen. Whether it was happening then or happening fast enough, I knew that I could count on you. I believed it. I believed in you.
Interesting.
And that just stood out to me.
Wow.
Because I believed it then. I believed it in 1997.
Wow. That's interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I would think that taking care of would mean that you're not worried about, shelter and food and clothes. And even, I shouldn't say clothes because we did have clothes. It just wasn't like in one of my entries here, it says, grateful that Tracy and Malik were able to buy a pair of shoes for the first time in a long time. And this is 1998.
Wow.
So, but we did have a house, even though, again, it went up for foreclosure. We were able to save the home. And we did have a car, even though it was repossessed.
But you hear what you're saying, right? We still had it. I still counted on you. The car.
We didn't have a car for a second.
Babe.
I was borrowing my father's truck.
But again, did you make it happen? Did we have a car at that time?
Yeah.
I was counting on you. My point is I was counting on you and I always count on you and you always came through. Always came through. We might not have had a lot of food or exactly the food we wanted, but we had food. It may have been some things wrong in the house or stuff that wasn't working right, but we still had a house.
Right. So there's a lot of folks who are friends of ours, and I'm sure in the audience as well, who are like, well, that's why you don't count on a man. Like, you got to go get yours. Like, you got to take care of you too. So you did go out and have several careers where you were able to help provide while we were getting our business up and going, right? That I was heading up.
Oh yeah, no, we did it together.
Right.
But that's my print personality, to feel safe and secure. And you were that for me.
Right.
We did it together, but you were that for me.
Yeah.
You are that for me.
Yeah. And I think it's different. I'm only saying that because I think it's different for different people, right? So for you said, hey, my dad kind of provided that emotion for me where I felt like I don't ever have to worry about anything. And I was looking for that. And I stepped in and provided that. But in the sense of you saying you felt like you were being taken care of at that moment, it wasn't even finances. And I'm curious, now you can't go back and rewrite it, but I'm curious if you were to write deeper, like what that meant to you. I don't know what that is, right? Because it was tough during that time. You were like, hey, I mean, I don't understand, like what, right? So I don't want people to think who are watching this, like you were like, oh yes, we don't have money, it's all good, right? It was tough. Like you were worried. There were times where you're like, I don't understand. I mean, are we going to be okay? Or are we going to get through this? I'm like, yeah, we are. And I'm just curious to know, like, if in that moment you put yourself in a place because your mom gave you this gratitude journal to say, hey, I'm going to figure out in my mind to write down what I'm still grateful for, even though I am a little concerned about this.
Right. Yeah. I said earlier, some days I remember right away what to write. And some days I had to sit for a long time and say, okay, I don't know what I'm writing. Right. And I had to sit and think before I went to bed what I could write down.
Yeah.
And in those moments, that's what I felt.
Yeah. Yeah. I think it's well, you look for another one to read, because I want to talk before we end this episode about this transition, because for me it's critical for people to know that there are valley seasons and there are mountaintop seasons. And I don't know how long someone's valley season is going to be and how long it's going to be before they experience a mountaintop season. And so sometimes you have to go, in your case, you've got from 96, 97, 98, and it wasn't until 99 we can finally start paying our bills on time. Mm-hmm. And when we're in that season, it seems like forever. When I look back, I'm like, it's only 3 years, right? 3.5 years or so.
Right.
And but when you're in that season, that feels like forever. I mean, 3 years times 12 months, it's 36 months. It feels like forever.
Sure.
But maybe not so much if people are at least saying what they're grateful for. And that's what we're encouraging people to do here, is to really talk more about what they're grateful for. Mm-hmm. What else do you have there?
Well, this is interesting. So the one I read just now was from January. So this is the same year, November. So fast forward.
Okay.
So this one's is, and this is funny because I actually wrote a smiley face with it. Mm. It says, "This must be my lucky weekend. My husband has been spending so much time with me lately and doing well in the business. Time and money. This is awesome."
Wow. Okay.
That's good.
Okay.
And I put a smiley face.
I wish again, now that you're saying this, I wish I knew how much money that was. Like,
I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Enough to go to get something to eat and to spend some time.
It says you've been spending a lot of time with me and your business was doing well.
Okay.
And I actually wrote time and money.
Okay.
Like this is happening. You spoke it. Yeah, because we didn't earn our first six figures until 99. Yeah, but whatever it was then, six figures, it didn't have to be that.
It didn't have to be, yeah.
Yes. I mean, to me, it just seems like from January to November, it was moving in a great direction.
That's good.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Look, check this out. This is 98. So this is a year after that, right? That you're in 97?
I'm in 97. Mm-hmm. I'm in 97.
So obviously there were still peaks and valleys. This is what I'm going to get to. I'm going to shut my book. There obviously are peaks and valleys. Mm-hmm. So just because we had some time and money at one moment that year, the next year, there still was some struggle to get to a place where we weren't kind of just hitting survival.
Right.
You know what I mean? And so sometimes we've talked about this in a previous episode where you have crisis and survival. And you have this crisis and you're like, oh man, we got to hustle. We got to grind, no sleep, whatever it takes, because the bill is due. The light's about to be turned off, whatever it is. You do everything you can in your power. And one of these entries, it said, I'm grateful that I had so many no's today because it means a yes must be on its way.
Wow.
And so sometimes, you put yourself in a place, you're like, look, well, no matter what it takes, I'm going to keep getting no's till I get a yes. I'm not stopping. And so you get to a place where you at least can breathe. Like, you know what I mean? Your lips are out of the water. You're like, okay, I got a little bit of air here.
Yeah.
And then sometimes you drift back down to another crisis hits. But one day you break through survival, never to go back down to crisis again. And I say that because the year after that in my book, because my book is a year after yours,
right?
It says, thankful Tracy's tire still holding on.
Wow.
So he got to a place where I couldn't get you a new tire. And I was just glad it was still lasting, I guess, until I got the money to get you a new tire.
Wow.
Right? Or perhaps it was you buying your own tire, but I was using your money for something, something else. Look, at one point, guys, Tracy had a few jobs at one time and really helped to provide the seed money to keep our business going. And I'm so thankful and grateful for that time because of the events I had to go to, the rooms I had to get into, to be around the right people who could coach me and mentor me and train me. And because I was in those rooms, it allowed us to gain the skills to become successful. Well, I couldn't get in that room without the seed money, without the investment in myself. And I didn't have the money to invest in myself. So you believed enough to invest in me. I believed enough that it would be worth it, that I trusted myself, which is what I teach all the time now, trusted myself, right? That, you know what, if I'm going to use this money, I'm going to come out of here and give it every single thing I have. So all I'm saying is at some point, it's good to have somebody around you who believes in you.
Absolutely.
I had that, right? It's good to at some point trust and believe in yourself. I did that because I used that money to go to an event where I said, you know what, if I could just get in that room.
But it's hard to get to that point, though. We've talked about that before, too.
Explain.
To get to the point where you do trust yourself.
Yeah, I know. Especially when you've said things that haven't happened over and over and over again. You feel like, man, how do I know I'm not lying to myself again?
But I guess that's when the words come.
Yeah.
From your loved ones and people who care about you and see it in you.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, that too. Yes, absolutely. That combined with small wins, right? Because trust is earned. How do you earn it? You earn it by getting small wins, right? I've taken this step, done, right? I've got my Instagram page, done. I've posted, done. These are all small wins. You don't have to wait to get to 50,000 followers before you have a win. You posted, that's a win. Yeah. You started the page, that's a win. Yeah. Right? You actually said, you spoke that this is my year. That's a win because before you weren't speaking that this is going to be your year. You were like, I don't know if it's going to happen. Every year it seems like things are just pushing me backwards instead of forwards. And now you're saying, you know what? Everything that's happened to me has happened for me and it's helping me to get to the place that I said I was going to be because I'm going to be there. Right. Absolutely. So you got to have somebody who believes in you. You got to get yourself to a place where you can believe and trust yourself, and being in the right environment helps out. You said that, having the right people around you and getting some small wins. Right. And having people around you that celebrate those small wins, because it's easy to have a small win and look at that win as a failure. That's true. Right? Because depending on who you're around, they're like, is that it? Like, dude, you should be doing more. And you thought the $200 was a win. You're like, I had $200 in my Shopify. I got $200 with a sale. I got $200, whatever it was. But then you're in a circle where someone just made $200,000. Right. So it makes you feel like that wasn't really a win. Unless you have someone in that circle, even the person that did $2 million should be able to celebrate someone else if that $200 is a win for them. You see, the person you're celebrating has nothing to do with what you earned. I'm celebrating you because you got to win. Exactly right. Yeah. So the person who makes $2 million should not have that person in their circle if they can't find it within themselves to celebrate someone who's got to win at 200. Yes. You know what I mean? If I look down on someone in my circle who's made $200 in their new endeavor, then I probably shouldn't have that person in my circle because I'm damaging that person. Right? So that $200, if that's a win for them, it's a win for me.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's a win for me for you.
Right.
Right? I'm just as happy as you are because you got the $200, then you should be.
Right. But what I was saying was, even if you do have that person, sometimes you feel that way.
That's correct.
So your self-talk has to say the $200 is good.
But it's hard unless someone else is helping you
affirming
to define
that
exactly
for you.
right. That's what I'm saying.
Right.
Because if you're in an environment, which is good, if you're the lowest on the totem pole in your circle, that's actually good.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right? If you have to look up words that people are saying in your circle, you're like, what did they say? So that's actually good. However, it can cause you to beat up on yourself and feel like, man, I'm the loser in the circle. I'm the weakest link. Unless someone's affirming, dude, you're on your way though, man.
Yeah.
You're on your way. Next week's will be 400. This is going to be 800. It's going to be 1,600.
Yeah.
Right? Let's duplicate it. Let's scale it. So anyway, this is great. This is great.
So babe, so we should do another one where we have the same year so we can compare the same day.
That would be interesting.
So what you were grateful for
as
opposed to what I was grateful for.
That would be cool.
On that day.
Yeah, that would be cool.
So we should, that would be very interesting.
Yeah. And maybe I will read your journal. You'll read mine.
Okay. Since you've done it before anyway. Yeah.
Okay, Shady Boots.
Listen, you can read my journal anytime.
Thanks, babe. Listen, guys, it's not always easy to think about what you're grateful for when you're in a season when you just feel like nothing's going right. But just remember, your self-talk is important, even in that season. In fact, it's probably more important in that season because you've got to pull yourself out with the words that you speak. And the words you're speaking are the words that you're speaking because you already see, visualize, and are playing a reel of you being out, not in your situation. So try to see yourself not as the person you used to be or even the person you are, but the person you want to be. Because remember, the things we say to ourselves, about ourselves, eventually determine what and even who we attract for ourselves.
But also, babe, I was thinking too, even if you are in that place where you're not having a good time or a good season, you still may have to be that person to speak life into someone else.
That's very true.
A lot of times we feel like I need, but sometimes you're around people who need it too.
Yeah.
So just even if you're not in a good place or not where you want to be, make sure that you're paying attention to who's around you because sometimes people are giving it to you and they're going through too.
Yeah.
And they may need it back.
Well said.
Well
yeah. said.
Okay.
All right, guys. We will see you guys next time on the Self-Talk Experience.
Next Thursday.
Thank you for listening to the Self-Talk Podcast with Darnell and Tracy Self. We hope you enjoyed. Be sure to rate and review this podcast on your favorite podcast listening platform. And we'll see you next time. And remember, talk good to yourself.